Dave, hard work, you said, was the answer to last weekend's defeat against Mansfield. Have you seen a positive reaction from your side in that regard this week?
Yeah, absolutely. You expect the reaction. It's always you talk after the game in terms of what it looked like. We went with a different game plan, and on a different day, on another day, the game plan goes exactly as you hope, and you win the game. And sometimes when you look at what a game looks like actually in the flesh on a Saturday, it can be different when you look back at it in the video. Fundamentally, what we didn't do is we didn't defend well enough in the second half, and we didn't take the moments that we had. We wanted to be, like I say, a little bit deep, which goes away from our normal philosophy. But we felt we could get joy from that. We certainly did, in terms of having Louis and Tanto isolated in good areas at time. We didn't take enough advantage of that, and conceded again really poor goals, which we have to stop. So you take out of it what you need to, and you move on. Like I say, you work during the week on what our principles are and how we do them better, and you relay them, or you put them into a thought process for this Saturday in terms of the home game against Crawley.
We spoke about the parallels with the start to last season in a negative sense, but at the same time as that, how much are you able to draw on the experience in the way that you recovered from that and finished the season so strongly and went on such a good run?
Of course you do. I think you have to use all, I've said it before, all experiences, good and bad, to guide where you are. Motivation for us at the end of last season, in my opinion, for me certainly, and I can only speak for myself, but it should be for the same for the players, couldn't be any greater, couldn't be any higher. And you keep forcing home the fact that, yeah, we draw on those positive experiences and positive memories from last season, but you need to go and make it happen as well. You can't just sit in a bubble and be comforted by the fact that, oh, this has happened previously, it happens again. Like I say, I'm really of the opinion of you have to go and work at that, and the harder you work, I hope the luckier you do get. But we do need to cut out those, like I say, the individual mistakes that at times can be damaging, and get positive results that reinforce the fact that what we're doing is the right way of going about it.
You mentioned that we would likely see some incomings this week, and that's come in the form of Joel Cotterill and Alfie Pond, both very highly rated at their parent clubs. What can you tell us about those two and what you think they'll bring? Yeah,
both come in, as you say, both highly rated youth internationals in their own right for different countries. Joel, very, very good technical midfield player that can play in the deep role, brilliant range of passing, and can play higher up, so good energy and good legs, and will give us good options in there. I suppose the difficulty or the potential is that we may lose them a little bit in terms of those international call-up and international weekends, but that's something that we're willing to work with. Alfie, centre-back, very, very highly thought of. I know there's been some interest in him from Wolves from higher up than us in terms of taking him permanently. Can do a bit of everything, so good size, aerially dominant. We obviously need somebody that can play central or either side of that back three for us, and he ticks all of those boxes. Comfortable on the ball and in possession, as you would expect from a coming through and being part of a Premier League club. Obviously made his debut for Wolves on Tuesday evening in the EFL Cup, which again, great experience for him. He's a quiet character in terms of how he is, a young lad, but has, like I say, has a really, really big future in the game. You're always going to evolve as a centre back as you get further into your 20s, if you like. But a really, really exciting loan signing, the two of them, and brilliant for us as a club that we can be trusted by, like I say, a Championship club and a Premier League club to manage their players or their young players' development over the course of the next 6 months or so, whilst really adding to what we've got within our squad.
At the time we're talking now, there's still a day and a bit until the window does shut. Do you feel like that's us done now, business-wise, or are you happy with the size of the squad now?
It's tough, isn't it? Because we'll get to mid-October potentially, and our squad could be oversubscribed in terms of numbers. We're always going to want to try and strengthen, and I would always hope and sit here that we can at least bring another one in. Again, what people, which I completely understand, won't get, because what Mark has done has been brilliant for us in terms of investing in the squad, but we have a budget, and people may not think that, but we have a budget, and we have to make things work effectively, efficiently, and budgetary wise for what the football club wants to do. So it would be great to think that you could go and pluck players from here, there, and everywhere, and go and strengthen with no sort of concern of what that looks like. But that's not the case. We want to be the best we can be in terms of the squad between now and January, because that's what you have to be. We have to have a look and an eye on the fact that in a month to 6 weeks time, we've got players coming back that will play a key part in that. But the next 6 weeks, regardless, is going to be really, really important. So if we can be as strong as possible in that time, then brilliant. If not, like I say, in terms of the squad we've got the squad we've got. We trust in that to be able to deliver what we can over certainly the short term, knowing that we're going to get stronger as we edge towards January.
It's certainly pleasing to go out to training today and see Nick Powell, Sars, Campsey and even Carl Wootton all training a little bit after a pretty bleak few months in injury. That must create a bit of positivity around the place as well.
Yeah, of course it does, because they're all very good players, and that's the key. We've got we have a squad of good players, but I think when you, even from a player's perspective, when you turn round and you are missing the calibre of those players you talked about and the other ones in the treatment room, it does have an impact, because people will draw on their experiences but also draw on their quality to go and win your games of football in a moment, and we've not had that at our disposal. So to certainly have, like say, Sars and Nick back involved. Campsey doing a little bit, probably still a couple of weeks away, depending on what happens with sort of contact with him. Woods has been out on the grass now for a couple of weeks. Again, baby steps, but great to see him out there. Like I said previously, he's in a great place, even being injured, as strange as that sounds, because he's worked his absolute tripe off to be in phenomenal condition, and we all hope that he gets the rewards of that by getting back early if he can, but certainly when he's back, hitting the ground running and getting back in the goals as quickly as possible. And there'll be others that, like I say, are not too far away. Jaden back training, obviously Maka doing bits. So there's more positive news on that front, which certainly, like I say, certainly helps the squad.
Yeah, and I think Sars and Nick were the ones that were close to a return. Could Saturday be the day for those two? Yeah, they'll both be
involved in the squad, providing there's been no reaction from today's session and obviously what we do during tomorrow. And both welcome, like I said, welcome to Nick from the bench on Saturday, but certainly he wanted to be involved. But it was only going to be like I say, a minimal involvement with him. Hopefully we can get some more out of him this weekend, which again will be another plus.
Just on Crawley, they're obviously shown what they're capable of already when you look at the results against Bradford, Salford, MK Dons. They're coming into this game on the back of a pretty heavy defeat at Swindon last time out. From your experience, does that make it a good time to face them, a bad time to face them? What's your...
I don't think it makes too much difference, to be honest. I think what you have to do is... and what they'll be doing is looking away from the result. I think if you watch, like we do, you watch their games and you watch that game of football, they'll be amazed that they're not at least 2 up after 15 minutes at Swindon. And the game in the first half, they were in control of large aspects of that, conceded a goal on 35 minutes and the game's 1-0 at half time. They then concede 2 in the first 5 minutes of the second half and the game's done. So what you then have to look at, I suppose, from their perspective, they'll be looking at reaction to then what that looks like. They are open, they are expansive, they flip between different systems and ask questions of you. And they've played some good stuff. They're probably similar to us in a little bit, not made the most of their moments in the games that they've lost. But as you say, have got good victories against decent teams. So we've got to focus on us and being the best versions of ourselves. not too concerned about what their result was last Saturday, more concerned about what our result was, and us bouncing back, and I suppose pose them the question: is it a good time or a bad time to play us?
It feels like a big month this coming up when you look at the games coming up, some big tests, but I suppose in that same sense a real opportunity to get things back on track, if you like, now.
Yeah, we knew the start of the season. The game and this division, and any division really, isn't played on paper. And you look at our opening 10 games and you probably suggest maybe 7 or so of those teams would be teams that pre-season you'd be looking at, yeah, I think they'll do all right, they've strengthened quite well, you'd fancy them, they were good last year. You always look at that. Again, it doesn't really make a difference. We said it last year and I continue to say it, we could have started the season like a house on fire and won all our games and we sat top of the table, and then come May, not being where we want to be. We're judged, and you play everybody twice, home and away, over the course of a season. We've got to make sure we pick up many points as possible to put us in the position we want to be in. As was the case last year, we've given ourselves a little bit of making up to do, but we're 5, 6, 7 games into the season. When you look at league and cup games, we're right at the start. We want to win football matches. It doesn't matter whether it's in August, September or April. That's what it's all about. And as much as you can look at, again, on paper, teams you're playing against, it doesn't really make a difference. We need to pick up points. It doesn't say at the end on a league table you beat that team twice, that team twice. It gives you the points total at the end, and our points total's got to be as high as possible.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you.
Welcome. Cheers. Thank you.